fact, I knew about God's store for about a year's time before I first time came here. But then, like anybody else, since it was Ayurveda, I did not rely too much on the product and the invention. But then, since I had to go to the hospital twice, and someone told me that since you've gone to the hospital twice, so why don't you give it a try? So then I gave this Dabacure a try because my sugar earlier was around 320, 330, and then after going to the hospital for the second time, I was on insulin, and with the insulin also the sugar level was, the lower end was around 180, and with great difficulty it used to come down to 120, but it was stabilized around 180 with the insulin. And then when I used it for the first time, within 7 days the sugar level came down to 120, and I was very surprised that how can the sugar level come down without the insulin at 120. Then I checked up with Mr. Amul that it is 120. He said, how many times are you using? I said, once. He said, use it twice. So the moment I used it twice, then the sugar level immediately came down to, the very second day it came down to 80. So it was very surprising for me that how can the sugar level, just by using the oil without undergoing the insulin every day. So then I thought probably there's something wrong with the instrument. So then I checked up with my dad's instrument. Again it came out to be same. Then it was too much, because I have been suffering with diabetes for good more than 15 years till then. And ever since, I got this output of reduction in the sugar level, I've been using this for good more than a year now. In fact, now I'm a bit irregular, but first 3 or 4 months I was very regular, but now I am too irregular, but my sugar level is now close to 100. It is okay with me because I neither walk, I don't take medicines, and the Dabacure also I am very rarely, maybe once in 10 days or so, or whenever I remember I use it. And the best part was, once about a year back, somebody came to my office for some business deal. I offered him tea. He said tea without sugar. I asked him how much sugar. He said 450. His age was close to around 40. I told him get up. I brought him to God's store office in East Clash. And the best part was, within 3 days his sugar level came down from 450 to 80. And this was too much. So he left his business, and I believe he's now selling, he's opened a showroom in Vikaspuri and he's selling God's Own Store products now. So that is how this gentleman from 450, the sugar level came down to 80 in just 3 days time. So he said this is a miracle. We have a production manager in our office and he was not coming for good 10 days. So I called him, why are you not coming for last 10 days? He said, my wife is admitted in Chananderi hospital. So I asked him, what is the matter? He said, she is suffering from dengue, and last 10 days she is admitted. So I asked him to, take this oil from God's Own Store and try to use it in case it helps. And within 24 hours, his wife was out of the hospital. And he was surprised, how can a person who's been there for 10 days in the hospital, how can somebody be cured within 24 hours? Then there's another doctor friend of mine, I will not name him because for confidential reasons, the doctor name and the hospital is working in. His daughter was in the hospital for 4 days because of fever, and again a dengue fever. And I told him, if you don't mind, you try this. I brought this oil, I don't remember the oil's name, and gave it to him, and his daughter was out of the hospital within 24 hours. So there have been many cases, and recently also, last week also, there was a senior official of a large multinational company. His daughter, probably age was around 13. She was admitted in one of the main hospitals in Delhi, and after 4 days, within 24 hours, she was out of the hospital, same suffering from dengue.